How many people do you know who struggle with their health? Chances are, whether they show it or not, most of the people in your life do. And chances are, you're one of them. Whether you're dealing with anxiety, depression, endometriosis, acne, eczema, autoimmune, thyroid, Lyme, brain fog, fatigue, or any other symptom or condition, you're far from alone. Living with symptoms has become the new normal. So no more guessing games. It's time to get answers. Welcome to the Medical Medium Podcast. I'm Anthony William. We're talking about seed oils. This is a goodie. Get ready for this one. I know that people are making a big deal about seed oils every day right now. Glad you joined the club. Been talking about seed oils going all the way back to the 80s. The irony is that many seed oils are way better for you than cheese, than milk, than butter, than kefir, than dairy products, than eggs. Way better for you than so many things. But everybody's just freaking out because they don't realize it. Some seed oils are bad. I've been talking about it for a long time. Some seed oils aren't that bad at all compared to other things people are doing. Doesn't mean we should all do seed oils and do them every day, but there's a lot to learn. Get ready for this ride. You're not going to forget about it. We're going into the seed oil game. Been on this vegan cookie kick lately, and chips, gluten-free, GMO-free. All these are so good. I can just be vegan on these, and I could eat these every single day. There's a lot of healthy stuff in here. Let me see. No, I'm checking the ingredient list. Yeah, I know. Hold on. Canola oil, gluten-free, non-GMO, sunflower oil, safflower oil. I wonder what that is. Pure maple syrup and rice flour. This tastes really good. I could live off of these. Seed oils. Everybody's freaking out. Freaking out. Like it's the biggest thing on the planet. Yeah. Seed oils are responsible for everybody's illness. The sky is falling. First of all, canola oil. That's the worst seed oil there is. And it's a bad one. And it causes a lot of problems. And I've been talking about it since the late 80s. Is it responsible for everybody's chronic illness? No, but it doesn't help. And corn oil. That's a bad one too. Anything corn is bad though. Anything corn feeds bugs, viruses in people's systems. It's a trigger. It's an instigator. And it's a bad one for sure. Is it responsible for everybody's condition, everybody's symptom? No, it doesn't help. It's not good for people. All corn isn't. I've been talking about that forever, for years. Throwing the baby out in the bathwater is what everybody's doing now. It's amazing to just see it. There are some really bad seed oils, but some of them aren't that bad, and there's so many other things out there that are far worse. 10 years ago, when nobody talked about canola oil on the health scene, I put some information from Spirit in one of my books, the Medical Medium book. Canola oil is mostly GMO at this point in time, and regardless, canola oil creates a great deal of inflammation because the oil can create a barrier around strep, E. coli, and many other unproductive bacteria that live in our gut. That barrier can allow the unproductive bacteria to stay alive and even potentially grow, eventually causing an irritated, inflamed gut lining. Long-term use in high quantities of canola oil can be especially compromising to your digestive system, potentially scarring. Yes, that's right. Scarring the linings of both your small and large intestines, which is something I talked about for years and years, decades actually, a long time ago, on how the intestinal tract can get scarred. And canola oil can even instigate IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. If bacteria such as strep or E. coli are present, yes, because canola oil can feed bacteria, fungus, and mold. It can accelerate chronic illness. It can feed the bad bacteria. Canola oil is used in many restaurants and in thousands of products. Yes, vegan products especially. Often as a low-cost alternative to olive oil. Remember? Talked about this for years. Olive oil, canola oil blend. I remember talking about it and everybody was so pissed off about that. They're pissed off hearing it from me. They're like, he's wrong, he's wrong. Crucify him, he's wrong, he's wrong. Kill him, kill him. People were freaking out because I said there was a blend of canola oil and olive oil. And everybody was like, why is canola oil bad? It's in every store, every product, every restaurant. There's nothing wrong with it. But they were wrong. There was something wrong with it. It's that bad. And they used it in restaurants to keep prices down, sometimes advertising canola as a health food. Do you remember that? Canola oil was considered a health food. It was advertised as a healthy alternative. And I rained and rained and rained upon that canola oil with information from above, from SOC, teaching people all across the land that canola oil was really, really bad. It's published in all these medical medium books, and millions of copies of this book went all around the world, around the globe. And in the book, it says, unfortunately, if canola oil is even a tiny part of an otherwise perfectly healthy dish of organic and all natural ingredients, you should probably avoid that dish because of how irritating canola oil is. If you're dealing with a mystery illness or a health condition, try to avoid canola oil at all costs. In Medical Medium Life-Changing Foods, it says, one seemingly innocuous oil that has snuck into our lives is canola oil, also known as rapeseed oil. While awareness of canola's health risks is growing, thanks to Medical Medium Information Spirit of Compassion, there's a competing campaign that promotes its benefits. Yeah, promotes its benefits. Remember that? It has become a staple in restaurants, used mostly as a replacement for unhealthy lard, cottonseed oil, and corn oil, and as a cheaper, lower-fat alternative to olive oil. The irony is, canola has its own set of pitfalls. It says right here, don't be fooled when you hear that canola oil is good for you. Whatever valuable components canola oil has are outweighed by the downsides, because remember, there's nothing out there truly in the science that says canola oil is bad. Nothing with a real study behind it with humans yet. They've been saying how good it is, because when they break it down, they talk about the phytochemical compounds and the nutrients, but I was never tricked by that because of Spirit of Compassion. Everybody touted how great it was. Everybody, podcast doctors, health gurus, people in the health industry. It was in everything. It was in protein powders. Yes, protein powders, snack bars, protein bars, all kinds of different smoothie powders, mixes. It was in formulas. It was everywhere. Says here in Life-Changing Foods, well, you may not die by the end of every meal you eat with canola oil, but the repeated exposure would still be extremely risky business. You would certainly experience a loss of vitality by the 100th meal. Be just as wary of canola as other things. Canola oil is severely damaging to the immune system, causing it to be dysfunctional and disruptive to organ and gut health. Canola oil not only feeds pathogens as the other foods above do, it also eats away at all linings in the body, from the stomach and intestinal tract linings to those of veins, arteries, the heart, kidneys, bladder, urethra, and if you're a woman, the linings of the reproductive system. That's in here. Let's take a look at Cleanse to Heal. Industrial food oils, including vegetable oil, palm oil, canola oil, corn oil, safflower oil, soybean oil. Millions of copies of Cleanse to Heal went around the world. Everybody, almost everybody read the book. I wonder if some influencers got that idea about seed oils from here. Maybe not. Just wondering. These types of oil are extremely unproductive in any kind of detox because not only are they a source of fat, and that's an important factor right there, that thickens the blood, blocking toxins and poisons from leaving the body in a cleanse and burdening the vascular system. Some of these oils I mentioned are also astringent and acidic, irritating the linings of the digestive tract. Further, industrial food oils create inflammation because they have the potential to feed pathogens, such as the many strains and mutations of strep, E. coli, staph, and hundreds of other unproductive bacteria inside the small intestinal tract and colon, many unidentified by science, as well as viruses in the liver, such as the many strains and mutations of Epstein-Barr, shingles, CMV, HHV6, and herpes simplex 1 and 2. As you read earlier, pathogen activity creates inflammation. And I want to repeat that. Pathogen activity creates the inflammation. That's the key right there. These oils also put a necessary stress upon the pancreas and the liver. If you're downing these oils, you're going to stress out your pancreas and your liver if you're downing them, resulting in weak digestion, insulin resistance, which inhibits healing foods from doing their job of cleansing and healing the body and stops critical needed carbohydrates from entering into cells throughout the body. Keep these oils out of any cleanse. I'll give you the bad boys, the bad ones to stay away from no matter what. If you got chronic illness, stay away from canola oil. Stay away from corn oil, corn of all kinds. Stay away from soy. And I talked about why. They're GMO, but not just GMO. They feed pathogens, viruses, bacteria, the very things that keep people sick, keep them tired, keep them achy, give them mystery chronic illness, which ends up giving them all kinds of different diagnoses and labels. But just don't stay away from corn oil as a seed oil. Just don't stay away from soy oil. Stay away from soybeans, soy in general. Everybody was soy crazy, drove me crazy because everybody thought soy was the best thing in the world, so good for everybody. But you don't see it in the cleanses and the medical medium information. You don't see the contradictions where 2 years ago I was into soy, now I'm not. 5 years ago I was into corn and that was great, now I'm not, because it's not fashionable, not trendy. No. Consistency, non-contradictive, making sure people had a path, not because I'm a great guy or I'm smart or anything of the sort. It's information from above. It kept me straight so that people can find their way and stay on the healing path. If you're sick, stay away from corn. Corn oil, of course. Corn syrup. Stay away from anything corn. Corn flour. If you're sick, stay away from anything soy. Whatever that is, stay away from it. And if you're sick, stay away from canola oil. Keep it out of your food. Don't use it. Don't use it in your cooking. Make sure when you're at restaurants that it's not in your food. Make sure it's not on your salad or in any of your vegan baked goods. That's right, vegan chips, vegan baked goods. So let's talk about healthier seed oils. Yep, healthier seed oils. What are they? Sunflower oil. It's a healthier seed oil. It's way better than canola oil, way better than any kind of soy or corn, way better. What about other ones too? Sesame oil. Yeah, sesame oil. That's a great one. It's healthier than anything else. Grapeseed oil is healthier than any of those other ones too. These are healthier seed oils. They don't feed the bugs. That's right. Sunflower oil won't feed a bad bug. Is it the best oil in the world? No, but it won't feed a bad bug. Grapeseed oil will not feed bugs, pathogens, because that's why people are really sick and stay sick. Because you could have somebody and they can have all this kind of stuff, eat all kinds of processed foods for years. Sure, they might get a heart problem, but they're not bedridden at age 20. They're not on Mattress Island at age 18, where they're suffering brain fog, crippling anxiety. They're on Adderall. They're on amphetamines of all kinds. They're smoking marijuana. They're just struggling. They're suffering. They can't function. They can't think. They can't work. 20 years old, 25 years old. Sometimes on Mattress Island for years with a Lyme disease diagnosis, early multiple sclerosis diagnosis, lupus diagnosis, and more. And just plain old sick. And is it because of safflower oil? Is it because of sunflower oil? Is it because of corn oil? Probably not. Would it be good if they don't eat corn oil when they're that sick? Yeah, because the corn oil will feed a pathogen that's got them down and out. Soy will feed a pathogen that has them down and out. You see how it works? Canola oil could potentially feed a pathogen that has them down and out. Sucking it out sick, just so bad off on Mattress Island, Couch Island. But keep in mind, it's important to know some things. Somebody else could be 87 years old, 75 years old, 65 years old, working every day of their life, working hard, and they're just eating whatever. They just open up a package of this. They go and have this burger here. They're eating this, all kinds of food chemicals, all kinds of different oils, seed oils in their system. Sure, it could add up, and they could have some kind of arteriosclerosis or something else that hits them really bad, but they may not have had all the pathogens, the ones that got into the central nervous system, into the brain, creating brain inflammation. So whatever they were eating weren't triggering everything. Yeah, they had some bursitis. They had something with their shoulder. They had some gout. Yeah, type 2 diabetes. Of course, eating all that fat and that garbage, your liver just tanks out and you're going to get type 2 diabetes. But in the end, you got somebody who's 19 years old, could barely function. It's a complete mystery, and there are a lot of them. So many of them out there with chronic illness. The canaries, so many people that are suffering that are young. And is it because they had a handful of sunflower seeds? Is it because they had a snack that had some sunflower oil in it? Everybody's freaking out about seed oils, but they're just missing the boat. They're missing all of it, the information. It's a sea of confusion out there, and it's really hard. If I was bedridden, or if I was struggling and had mystery symptoms and anxiety and depression, and I couldn't just move forward with my life, and I was feeling just stuck, totally stuck, yeah, I would read a medical medium book, and I would learn to stay away from canola oil. I've been saying it forever. Stay away from corn oil. Stay away from soy. Stay away from beet sugar. Yeah, beet sugar. But keep in mind, oils are just bad. You're not supposed to be tanking olive oil, and that's a good oil. You're not supposed to be taking coconut oil left and right, tablespoons of it. That's what people did. They just put tablespoons of coconut oil in their smoothies. They still do. You're not supposed to be doing all this oil. You're not supposed to be doing all this nut butter. If you're really sick and struggling, you don't want to hit your liver with all that nut butter with all that added oil. See? If you're doing oils every day, no matter what kind of oil it is, you're still doing something that's hard on the body, especially if you're sick with chronic illness. No one's supposed to be just doing oils every day. It's not a great thing. And you got to look out for seed butters too, because they add extra seed oil to the seed butter. It's all that oil that sits at the top once that seed butter's been sitting in that jar for a long time. Companies, the industry adds in extra oil to cheapen it, to actually make it cheaper for them, more expensive for the person. They make a lot more money by adding in cheap oils. They fill the bottle up. They could use less seeds. That's the business. So the industry, the health industry, influencers, podcast doctors, whoever, woke up and they realized seed oils are bad. So they're looking at the back of their packages. But remember this, they didn't know that until recently. And remember this too, they didn't know that natural flavors were bad. Another medical medium informational piece. Talked about that forever. The minute natural flavors, organic natural flavors, flavorings, flavors of any kinds, whether it's strawberry flavoring, any kind of flavoring, vanilla flavoring, not vanilla extract, vanilla flavoring, medical medium information said that's MSG, that's the toxic stuff, that's the hidden mysterious stuff that's made in the factories and put out there, put in the food. Natural flavors was the devil. Then, I said, still one of the devils now. It's okay. Some people woke up and they were like, okay, we got seed oils in our packaged food now. Seed oils here, there, in our salads at the restaurant. And it's the devil? Well, these people were eating all those natural flavors. In fact, the podcast doctors that have people on now talking about seed oils had seed oil and natural flavorings all in their early supplements that they sold, that they manufactured themselves, meaning their own brands. They had natural flavors in their own brands. I know, I saw it. So guess what? There's also citric acid. So not only is there natural flavors and seed oils and citric acid, carrageenan, other things too. The back of the packages of all the different vegan foods, health foods, foods that were created also in the health industry for podcast doctors and people who were in the industry selling stuff and fitness people, protein powders and so forth. Nothing but shit. Nothing but shit in all of it. I talked about it for years. So people are waking up and they're reading the back of their chip bag and they're looking out for seed oils. Understandably so. And it's a good idea. Shouldn't be on them anyway. Shouldn't be doing all that stuff if you're sick. If you're sick. But it happens because life is hard and life is stressful. And there's a lot of treats and goodies out there. It's hard to stay away from them. I don't judge anybody. I don't shame anybody. I completely understand. You have to have compassion for people who are struggling and they don't know what to eat, or they're eating things that give them comfort. They've been through hell and back. Completely understandable. Completely understandable. And it's sad that there's all these bad things in stuff, not just in processed foods. It's a separate story. Conventional processed foods out there, everybody knew they were bad. I mean, you would hope everybody knew. I mean, heck, processed foods, fast foods, fried, greasy foods, yeah, it's toxic, right? But there was this health movement and all this stuff, yeast, vinegars. Yeah, even apple cider vinegar is not good for you. That's bad too. Yeah, it is. It rots your teeth. It causes all kinds of problems. It removes calcium from your bones. The vinegars, they're that bad. But people open up a bag of kale chips back then, when they came out, and there's yeast and nutritional yeast. Yeah, nutritional yeast, another really bad one. And some kind of seed oil in there. Canola oil, safflower oil, cottonseed oil, kernel, some kind of palm kernel oil of some kind. All not good, but natural flavors too, and yeast and citric acid. Citric acid's another one that's really bad. There's been all this crap in health food. All this crap in health food for years. For years now. I've watched it, and everybody thought it was great. No problem. Nobody complained. Nobody did podcasts about it. I mean, I put it out there all the time, and people would look at me like, what's wrong with that guy? What's wrong with vinegar? What's wrong with citric acid? What's wrong with natural flavors and organic natural flavors? But yeah, it's all bad. And it chips away at the stone. It's death by 1,000 cuts, yes. And that's how the system works out there. And if you're healthy and you have nothing going on with yourself and you're really strong, you can do death by 1,000 cuts. You could play the game all day. But if you're somebody and you're already compromised, which means your immune system is already broken down, your immune system is already weak, it's weakened, it's in a weakened state, and you're struggling every single day, then yeah, we got to look out for these things that I talked about all these years. We got to be careful. And that leads us out of seed oils into just dairy, butter, ghee. That's terrible. And here's what's crazy. Experts of seed oils now, and you'll see them out there, they're like experts of seed oil. They're like doctors now that are going on TikTok, like, here's what you stay away from. Here's what you got to worry about seed oil. And what do? They say mutton suet. Mutton suet. Stay away from seed oils of all kinds, all seed oils. Stay away from grapeseed oil. Stay away from all kinds of seed oils. But here's a alternative for you, mutton suet. Boiled beef. Okay, so you're telling me boiled beef into a suet, a mutton suet, is actually better for you than some of these seed oils? Dear Lord, dear Lord. And that's what I mean. What's the alternatives? Here's another alternative, butter. Okay, heart attack. Yeah, heart attack city. Butter? That's the alternative? So put butter on everything. We came from there. Everybody already got sick over the years. The 60s, the 70s, the 1980s, the 1990s. People with chronic illness. People that lived off butter. There was always on the kitchen table, our kitchen counter, butter, a stick of butter. You dig into it, you put it on everything you eat, and you get a heart attack eventually. Clogs up the liver, hurts the liver really bad, clogs up the arteries, the veins, causes varicose veins over time, all kinds of different problems. So butter's the alternative? Okay, stay away from seed oil, but make sure we bring in lots of butter. And let's make sure we bring in lots of ghee. Like, does that make a lot of sense? Do you want to eat a lot of ghee? Do you want to put ghee on every single meal you're making instead of a seed oil? What is worse? What is better? None of it's good. If you're sick and struggling, keep the fats low. If you're looking at the back of a can, the back of a box, the back of a drink or something like that, and you see oils in there of any kind, think about it this way. I don't need the fat. I don't need the overt fat. I don't need soy oil, corn oil, safflower oil. Sure, sunflower oil is a better one. I know that me saying that is going to get somebody upset because they demonized it. It's still better than canola oil. Still better than corn oil because it doesn't feed the pathogens. But whatever it is, staying away from oils is just a good idea if you're sick. Overt fat. Also, keep your fats low overall. Don't overdo avocado. Don't overdo olive oil. Don't overdo meat. Don't overdo chicken. And with the bird flu out there right now, don't do chicken anyway. But the point is just keep the fats low. The coconut oil too. You want that down low because you're just going to bog your liver down and inhibit your healing and inhibit your cleansing. You can't cleanse deep if there's so much fat in your bloodstream, taking up all that blood. Yeah, dirty blood syndrome, stagnant, sluggish liver, a liver that's overworked, overburdened, won't be able to cleanse properly if you're filled with oil and fat and grease. Even if it's healthy, like avocados, don't overdo it unless it's the only food you have and that's how you can survive, only on that food. I get it. Then eat avocados. Eat them every day. The point is you want to keep your fats low if you're sick and struggling. It's how you pull out of it. It's partly how you get better so you can kill pathogens and use other tools, other supplements that are critical to killing bugs, other different forms of healing, getting the metals out, medical medium heavy metal detox, along with keeping the fats low, helps clean the stuff up. So it's not really just be afraid and scared to death over a seed oil. It's more of, I shouldn't be really doing too many seed oils right now because I don't feel well. I'm struggling. I got fatigue. I got other problems and brain fog. Maybe it's best to keep away from oils altogether, including nuts and seeds altogether, including oat milk too, which is elevated in fat as well, including chicken, turkey, dairy, milk, eggs, butter, beef. Keep it down low. Don't overdo it and do too much of it. I'm afraid for the people who get into the carnivore diet and they're green and they're eating meat 3 times a day and they're killing their liver with all that fat and overt fat. Sure, they sound like experts because they're listening to people who think they're experts about seed oils. Do the carnivore diet, eat meat, pure beef 3 times a day, organ meats on top of it, have some eggs. As long as you stay away from seed oils, you'll be fine. And they got people like thinking that the seed oil is why they're sick with severe chronic illness. I mean, there's a good chance they haven't been doing that much canola oil to cause the extreme damage I talked about in the medical medium books. You'd need a decent amount of it and really doing it long term, but people are doing everything bad out there long term. And then they run into something like the carnivore diet, and seed oils makes them think whoever they're listening to is really smart, like really brilliant. What's crazy, if you go back in time a little bit, it was like the medical medium information, still the same. Still the same. It didn't change. But everybody was doing seed oils and canola oil and everything else. Everybody was doing all that heavy bone broth, all that vinegar, all that nutritional yeast, all the natural flavors and everything. Oh, wait. But they're still doing it today, of course. They're still doing it today. But years ago, the fruit fear was so fierce. Everybody was afraid of fruit. If you talked about a banana, everybody freaked out. And still, some are still freaking out now. It's just the way it is. A lot of people are late to the game, but Info saved a lot of lives along the way. And in the early days, when nobody knew right from wrong in the health movement, everybody was eating canola oil. Everybody was eating nutritional yeast and vinegars, of course, and everything else. And they just thought they had it down. But medical medium information was pulling people out of the fire. Body burning of all kinds of pain, all kinds of tingles, numbness, aches everywhere, restless legs, all kinds of different problems left and right, gout, bursitis, even diabetes. But the information hasn't changed. It's not like a discovery where medical medium info discovers that seed oils are bad now. That medical medium information discovers that something else is bad now. It's always been consistent, and that's how you save the most lives. That's how you turn lives around. That's how you get a lot of people to heal. Information from above to keep it straight so that people have a direction and a path. And if they steer off that path, they steer off of it. It's understandable. Life is hard, but at least it's there for them to come back to and not have confusion. So when it comes down to seed oils, it's a big deal. They made a big deal out of it, but we talked about the worst ones. But really, in reality, nobody should be on any of them if they're sick and struggling. They need to keep their diets as clean as possible in the best ability they can. And for some reason, they get a little bit of sunflower oil in them, or they get some sesame oil in them. That's fine. And by the way, sesame oil and grapeseed oil are the two healthiest seed oils. And pulverized grapeseed is medicinal. And by the way, who's pouring just oil on everything? Sure, people pour olive oil on their salads. Some people now are using avocado oil. But who's just taking a whole bottle of safflower oil and dumping it on their food? Because I'm trying to figure that out. I get it in the baking world. A lot of vegetable oils are used. Got to be careful with a lot of baked goods. Like canola oil is used and so forth. So you got to be careful. But in general, like a healthier, cleaner diet, who's just taking bottles of seed oils of all kinds? Palm oil, safflower oil, canola oil. Are you doing that? Do you have a cupboard and there's just a straight bottle of canola in there and everything you make, you just dump it on it? Because I'm scratching my head on this one. I get it. It's in baked goods and it's bad for us. We have to be careful. We do. But there's other things in those baked goods and there's other things in those packaged foods that are bad for us too. And there's other things in restaurants that are bad for us too. Keep in mind, there's a lot of that out there. But we got to keep our heads focused on why we're sick. The pathogens, the metals. Focus on what to do. And focus on all the things to avoid. Check out medicalmedium.com for more information. Get on my newsletter so you can be updated all the time. Get on my Telegram. I leave exclusive messages on there. Check out my YouTube channel and Rumble channel. I'm around. I'm doing stuff. Free information. No paywalls anywhere. It's just about getting people better. Check out the Medical Medium book series too. You can learn more about canola oil and seed oils. Many of it, which I published 10 years ago. Keep in mind that you can heal. Pat yourself on the back. Have compassion for yourself. Know that I care. You're a good person. You're sick. And if you're struggling, know it's not your fault. If you're on Mattress Island, keep a light heart the best you can because you're going to get better and you're going to move forward, and don't forget that. Know that I care truly. Many blessings. God bless you. So what am I making? Hey, thanks for coming over. Oh, good to see you. I'm making mutton suet. Yeah, mutton suet. Just boiling a whole bunch of beef right here. Can you grab me that piece of raw beef? I want to throw it in this pot. Thanks. Yeah. Well, I've been looking into all kinds of stuff on seed oils. They're really bad. Yeah. Well, I was looking for an alternative, Well, I don't know. I'm just doing mutton suet. It's such an ingenious idea. See all the slimy stuff right here? Look. See slimy stuff? Just put this in a bowl. I'm just going to suck this down. Yeah, way better than seed oils. What seed oils am I eating anyway? I don't know. I think they're in packaged food. Maybe don't eat the packaged food? Well, that's a good idea. Either way, look at this. How slimy this is. What is this, all fat? It's suet. This is a great idea. Can you get me the ghee? Because I'm going to start eating lots of ghee. I don't know. I thought it was good. I mean, bacon's probably good too, right? Bacon fat? Maybe bacon oil. Wait, that's not a seed, right? But butter's not a seed. Wait a minute. Why is this all so confusing? They're tricky. They are trendy. They're trying to get the clicks, the likes, seed oils, the next fright. They change their colors every fortnight. Chameleons, lizards, really snakes. They never apologize for their past mistakes. Keep in mind, if you're really sick, there's a lot of landmines. Let's spell them out. Got the info from above. No need to shout. If you're someone who's been through a lot, you've been sick a long time, you've seen it all. Many times you felt like it would be your last fall. You've been there, you've done that, you've done everything twice. Keep in mind, you can heal. Talk to the angels every night. In times of heartache and in times of trouble, you're not alone. There's a force above watching out for you. Seems like every day there's a new trend out there to be aware of, to look out for in every way. But when you boil it down, some things can be bad, yes. Others, not profound. Milk, cheese, butter, dairy, eggs seem so nice, but in reality, these can be so much worse for someone struggling, and bad advice. When it comes to seed oils, avoid them if you're able. But if you're really that sick, you should be avoiding a lot of things that end up on the table as a staple. It appears that everyone's a genius in health, on the scene, but always know your life has meaning, well beyond their heads full of beans. I hear cruciferous is bad again. Oxalates and nightshades are sad again. Around and around it goes. Where it ends, only God knows.
Original published medical medium information gets stolen and poached by podcast doctors, social media doctors, influencers, and medical clinics. Medical medium information has never yet been proven wrong by medical science and research. Instead, the opposite, only proven right and then taken from medical medium published material and used in the conventional and alternative health communities. Medical medium information continually sets the stage for medical science to understand chronic illness better. If you choose to share or use the original, unique content from the Medical Medium podcast, books, or Medical Medium social media, please cite where this information comes from, so others who see and learn of this information have a chance to know where it all originates, to give them an opportunity to heal, so they don't end up losing years of their life searching for answers like so many have before them. The Medical Medium information here on this podcast doesn't come from broken science, interest groups, medical funding with strings attached, botched research, lobbyists, internal kickbacks, persuaded belief systems, private panels of influencers, health field payoffs, trendy traps, or gathered bits and pieces of gimmicky confusion. Because chronic illness is exploding like never before in our modern day history, it takes a greater force than us down here. It takes a helping hand from above. Medical medium information has street cred. It's an organic movement of countless people around the world healing. More healing stories of real people not being paid to tell their life-changing experiences of rising out of the ashes of sickness and entering into the light of full recovery, getting their lives back and finally healing when nothing else in the world of health could move the needle and get them better. The information on this podcast is not man-made. It comes from above, from a higher source. Whatever you believe in, whether God, the universe, the light, or the creator, or if you believe in nothing at all, that we're just floating through space together on this rock. Know that the information you hear on this podcast is separate from all the other noise out there. It comes from a different place, a pure, untampered with, advanced, clean, uncorrupted, original, primary source, a higher source, spirit of compassion.